Hello friends, welcome back. In the last part we covered simple division. In this part we will cover the scenarios where divisor is away from any power of 10. This rule is called transpose and apply. So let's start. So here is the first example. The way to do is you write down divisor like we do normally, and then your dividend. Now below the divisor, write down all the coefficients with the change sign. What I mean by change sign is, for example, this one will become -1 and 3 will become -3. Another thing to notice is you ignore the first, the leftmost number. This applies if it is 1, but if it is say any other number than 1, then it calls out for a different kind of a scenario, which I will try to cover later. So if you have this the first digit 1, and then you change the coefficients or the change signs of the all other digits, then it gives you like -1 and -3. Then for the dividend, you leave the first digit, the leftmost digit, and then below the second digit you start by multiplying with the leftmost number, all these coefficients. So for example, in this case, 1 multiplied by -1 will become -1, and then below this next number, the second digit -3, again multiplied by 1, so that becomes -3. So now in this case you have noticed that even after writing down the first set of multiplication, we have not reached the rightmost digit. So again we need to do the multiplication, but with which number? First, in the first multiplication we covered the leftmost number. Now for the second multiplication we have to cover the second number from the left, but this should now be the calculated number. Calculated in the sense that 2, if you add them up, 2 plus -1, that is 1. So 1 needs to be multiplied by -1 and -3, and right below the next set of numbers here, so below 4 and 5. So in this case, for example, we write down like -1 and -3. So now we have pretty much exhausted. So and now we need to do the sum of all the numbers to arrive at the final result. That is both a remainder and quotient. So 5 plus -3 gives us 2. 4 plus -3 minus 1 gives us 0. And then 2 plus -1 gives us 1, and 1 as is. So in this case our answer is 11 is quotient and 02 is the remainder. Let's look at another example. So in here again we do the same technique, because the divisor is starting with 1. So we write these numbers like this, and then below the divisor write down the other numbers apart from the first one with change sign. 0 remains 0, doesn't matter what sign you do, and then start multiplication with the leftmost number. So 1 multiplied by -5 gives us -5. 0 multiplied by anything gives us 0, so that's fine. But still we have not reached the rightmost number, so again we need to do the multiplication. Now the calculated number, the second left digit is 6 plus -5, that gives us 1, so we need to multiply with 1, both -5 and 0, so that again gives us -5 and 0. And now if we start writing down the sum, so 5 plus 0 gives us 5, 3 plus -5 gives us -2. That covers an interesting scenario which will come to in a minute. 6 plus -5 gives us 1, and 1 as is. So answer is 11 is quotient, so that's okay, and -2 and 5 gives us the remainder, but -2 cannot be in the remainder. So what we need to do, we need to take borrow a number from the quotient to adjust the remainder. So if you borrow 1 from the remainder from the question and give it to the remainder, so it will become, so let's calculate. So because 150 is our anyway the divisor, so 150 will come from the left side, and then this, because this minus 2 is at the second place, so it is minus 20 actually, and plus 5. So that's our actual remainder. So this gives us 130, 135. So remainder is 135, and because we borrowed 1 from the quotient, so actual quotient will become 10. So 10 is the quotient and 135 is the remainder. Let's look at another example. Again the same thing. Write down below the divisor all the digits with chain signs except the leftmost, and then write down dividend. And then start multiplication. So with the leftmost number, if we multiply these chain sign numbers, so it will give us -1, -2, -4, because we have not reached the rightmost number. So again we need to do the multiplication. Now the second number from the left after summing up is 2 plus -1, 1. So again we need to multiply 1 with the -1, -2 and -4 and write down below. So it's -1, -2, -4. Now we reach the rightmost number, so it's fine. So now let's start writing the sum. So 5 plus -4 gives us 1. 4 minus 4 minus 2, so that gives us -2. 3 minus 2 minus 1 gives us 0. And then 1, 1, because 1 is the leftmost, and 2 minus 1 it gives us 1. So again we have reached a similar kind of a situation as in the previous example. So 11 is our quotient without adjustment, but we have remainder with a minus number, so we need to turn it into positive. So the way is, again we need to borrow 1 from the quotient, so it's actually 1124, because again it's at the second place, so it's -20 plus 1, so that gives us 1105, and because we borrowed 1 from the quotient, so we need to adjust, so 10. So our final answer is 10 is our quotient and 1105 is the remainder. So so far we have covered examples where our digit, the first digit of divisor is 1. Now what if that is not the case? Let's look at that kind of a scenario. So in here, as you can see, 8 to 8 is our divisor. Now we have to approach it with the same technique, let's say. The problem is that because the first number is 8, so we cannot just do the -8. Other way to do is like we need to assume it as a 1, and then we need to divide all other numbers, other divisor, by that 8, so that we can adjust, and then it kind of leads into the complicated multiplication and division, which in the Vedic maths we always we always think about like a better way of doing it. It can be achieved, but it is not going to be simple, and hence it defeats the purpose. So how to do it? This technique is slightly different from the transpose. It's basically complement. So the complement is that if we say that, all right, what is the complement from the power of 10? So in this case it's like from the 1000, so the power of 10 is 172. So if we write down this number as 172, and 2671 is our number, and now we do the normal multiplication now, because we don't need to take the coefficients because we have the number available. So if we if we do the normal multiplication, so 2 multiplied by 1 gives us 1, then this gives us 14, and then this gives us 4. So we almost reach the right side digit. So now the answer, let's write, so it is 5 plus this one is 21, and then this is 2, and then this is 8. So now in the remainder we got 8, 2, 1 and 5. So how do we adjust it? So the way is that, alright, because the second place or the other place of 10 in the remainder, it contains 2, 1, so that has to be carried to the left side. So that gives us at least of n, it will become 10 because 8 plus 2 is 10, and then on the remainder side we will have 1, I would add 0, 1, 0, that we, because 0, 1 and 5, because we carried 2 from the right to left. So what this translates to, this basically is 1, 0. If I remove this 0, this is what this number is, 1, 0, 1, 5. So that means what, we can carry this further from the place of, let's say if I write 2 also, so 2 or 1 from the remainder side to the quotient side, so that gives us 3, and then we have like 0, 1, 5 and the remainder because it is 1000. So what is that? So if I write down below 172, because if we remove from 1000 828, so we are left with 172, so that you need to add to the remainder, so that gives you the final remainder. So our final answer is 3 the remainder, and 3 is the quotient, and 187 is the remainder. Let's recap on this one. So first of all, what we did, we took the complement from the power of 10, which in this case is 172, and then start using the division as we learned in the previous video. So and then do the multiplication. So this gives us 2, 14, 4, and then after summing up, what we got is this result. So in this case, the first place on the left side is the quotient, and remaining all is the remainder. So now because this place 21 has 2 digits, so now we need to start the adjustment. So first thing we did is we took 2 from this place and moved it to 8, so that gave us 10. Now 10 again is like 2 digits, so we can take 1 further to the quotient side, so that gave us 3. So then we are left with 15 as the remainder, but because from 1000 we have moved it, so we need to adjust the remaining portion, which is 172, to the remainder, so that gives us 187. Hope it makes it clear. Let's look at another example. If we write down again, because it is close, like we can take the complement from the power of 10,000. So let's see. So it is 1181, and then if we start the multiplication with the first digit, which is 2, so that gives us 2, then again 2, then 16, and then 2. Now if we do the add up, so this first digit gives us, on the right side gives us 11, so from which we can take 1 carry to the right side. So let's write it out first like this, and then now we do the sum of the second place from the right. So this gives us 25. So what we can do, we can take 1 from the right side and move it here, so that gives us 26. But now we have 2 carry, then 9 plus 2, 11, which again, like what we can do, we can move this 2 from this place and make it 13. Then we have 1 carry, then 2 plus 1, 3. So now we have 1 carry from the right side. So if I remove this and make it 4, and then 2 is the leftmost number. So answer is 2 is our quotient and 4361 is the remainder. So hope it makes it clear. So in this part we have tried to look at the 2 different types of division. One is really around transpose and second is around taking the complement. In the next part we will look at equations and apply the techniques that we have learned in this video and the previous videos. So for the time being, practice division applying these techniques, and see you soon in the next video. Bye for now.